Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
I'm Jerry.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Tom.
It's time!
Live from the CSB studios in Westbury, New York.
It's the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Featuring co-host Kevin Dolan and the host that's been here since day one, Jerry Napoleonello. On Zeno Radio.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show live on Zeno Radio. It is Monday, June 6th. I'm Jerry Napoleonello, no Kevin Donlin today. There's a lot to talk about today. NBA Finals, NHL Stanley Cup Finals. But what's being talked about the most these last 3 days, we lost a legend. Cassius Clay Muhammad Ali has passed away at the age of 74 on Friday night. And we will get into that just after this. The number to call is 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live if you got anything to talk about with Muhammad Ali. We got NBA Finals if you want to talk about that. The NHL Stanley Cup if you want to talk about that. Also baseball, Yankees, Mets, anybody else. If you're a Yankee fan, it's brutal. But first, we're going to talk about a little bit of Muhammad Ali. We're probably going to get into a lot about Muhammad Ali here. The thing is, I'm unable to talk about a lot with Muhammad Ali because I wasn't alive. Same thing if Kevin was here. He wouldn't be able to say anything about it either because, again, we weren't alive during the time that he was a.k.a. the greatest. With Muhammad Ali, it wasn't just in the ring with him. A lot of his, I guess, news or whatever you want to call it, came out of, out of boxing. Big trash talker. Very big trash talker. That's why it was so hard to see him when he was ridden by the Parkinson's and was barely able to talk. Such a strong, big man, practically unbeatable to be looked at the way that, that's all I remember him as because that's all I saw him as. I would have to go back to highlights of his fights, Thrilla in Manila, the fight of the century, Rumble in the Jungle. I would have to go back to highlights of those fights to be able to talk about that. And then just all the stuff that happened off or out of the boxing ring, I should say, whether it be with him, being in prison for 3 years because of, trying to get out of the Vietnam War in 1967, I believe it was. Being that I'm so, that I'm unable to talk about things about, Muhammad Ali, I have a few, clips, probably going to run us about 11 minutes or so. I have a few clips, and, one of the biggest things with Muhammad Ali was his relationship with Howard Cosell. Just watching highlights of their interviews and everything. It's funny. It was really funny, and it was entertaining, and you saw that they really had a bond, and that was one of the best things that you could see. And I have a few. I'm going to bring these up right now. Here's Jeremy Schaap. If you were listening to ESPN radio over the weekend, you heard this probably a couple of times because they played it on a couple of different shows, but I'm going to play it again. So this is Jeremy Schaap narrating the relationship between Howard Cosell and Muhammad Ali.
A loudmouth boxer, a Christian-turned-Muslim from Kentucky, who used rhyming verse to communicate his self-regard.
The Ali Shuffle is a dance that will make you scuffle.
A loudmouth lawyer turned sports reporter, a Jew from Brooklyn, who used big words to signal his intelligence.
You're being extremely truculent. Whatever truculent mean, if that's good, I'm there.
One made his fortune with his lightning fists. the other with his nasal voice.
I've known Ali for so many years and so intimately, and I know that as a man, he's a chameleon.
They both used their considerable intellects to devastating effect. And in each other, they found the perfect foils, the perfect partners, co-stars in the most compelling drama in sports. The rise and fall and rise again of Muhammad Ali.
I think I'm the only athlete, black or white, regardless of what sport, that's wise enough to match wits with you. Now I'm taking enough off of you. You can't fight, you can't throw no punches, you don't have no muscles, you've never had a physical contact with nothing in your life like sports, and you're gonna stand up here and tell me about my legs and about football, you're gonna know about everything. Well, I'm getting sick and tired of it, and I wanna show the world there really ain't nothing to you.
Don't touch me. I'll beat your brains out.
In Sound and Fury, his book about the Muhammad Ali-Howard Cosell relationship, Dave Kindred quoted Edith Wharton, who said, "There are two ways of spreading light, to be the candle or the mirror that reflects it."
Ali, of course, was the flame. Ali was the light. You know, everything, everywhere he went, he brought the light with him. Cosell was the reflector. Cosell was the magnifier even of Ali. You know, without Cosell, Ali would have existed. Without Ali, I'm not sure Cosell would have been Cosell. But as a team, they were perfect. They complemented each other. They worked hand in hand, better than anybody I've ever seen.
In 1967, when Ali refused induction in the armed forces, declaring himself a conscientious objector, Cosell was there.
We have borne witness, in effect, to a different kind of requiem for a heavyweight.
And when Ali's championship was taken from him, Cosell stood not quite alone, but in the minority against the torrent of Ali detractors.
Cosell, a major in the U.S. Army during World War II, believed that Ali had the constitutional right to decline service. And he was never on record as saying he agreed with him. He just agreed that he had that right as an American.
When Ali finally returned from exile after 4 years, Cosell was there to welcome him back.
We had enough of that for the past, I think, 6 years. You should have enough of me by now.
Haven't had enough of you by now. Apparently, I'm going to have a lot more of you. Statement?
No.
But in 1974, when Ali went off to Zaire to fight George Foreman, who seemed invincible, Cosell told it like it was, or at least how he perceived it.
Before the Foreman fight, before the Zaire fight, Howard basically declared Ali dead. You know, there's no sense in doing this. Why don't you quit, Muhammad?
You come to Africa talking like that. You're the minority in Africa, but you're the majority over here. I'll get you in Africa, you and George. I got something for you both in Africa. Oh, you take me laugh. I don't want to scare you, Howard. I'm just joking.
I'm terrified.
Yeah, I see you kind of sweating there.
After returning from Africa, having shocked the world again by bagging his quarry and reclaiming the heavyweight championship, Ali playfully confronted Cosell.
I want to say one thing while we live and you can't erase this. You always said, Muhammad, you're not the man you were 10 years ago, right?
Right.
Well, I'm going to ask your wife, are you the man you was last year?
In later years, after watching Ali fight for too long and his body begin to break down, Cosell pushed for boxing to be banned. He was attacked as a hypocrite for opposing the sport only after the era dominated by Ali and, in a way, Cosell had ended.
Some truth in that, but there's also truth in the fact that Howard, for maybe 10 years before Ali finished, was a loud, as he always was, a loud advocate of reforms in boxing.
Then, by the mid-1980s, the two loudest, most consequential voices of their generation in sports were mostly silenced. ABC let Cosell go in 1985. And at the same time, all the punishment Ali had absorbed in the ring was slowing his muscles and his mouth. The candle in the mirror burned bright no more. But never before and never since has such a partnership illuminated so much.
I won Cosell.
You are the greatest, Don.
I try to be.
Good luck to you, and it's not goodbye, it's au revoir.
Thank you, Harold.
And that was the ESPN thing that they had on Howard Cosell and Muhammad Ali. This is another clip that I found on YouTube, but I thought it was just as good. Just there was no narrating. This is all the clips, actual clips that you can hear them talking to each other. This is from YouTube.
Resulted in some of the most memorable exchanges in the history of sports journalism.
Howard Cosell, what he was doing was this fella making all this noise is Howard Cosell. What he was doing, Howard.
Good luck. I hope it's not an act. I hope you mean it.
If it's an act, just look at my record and see if have the other fights been acts. Have they been acts?
Not so far.
Well, what makes you think I'm acting?
And with that final stage of the act.
This is unexpected. I didn't know you would invite me to do this. Hold it. You must be on boxing position and just have a little dance like we're boxing and just for 1 second. I have to time it. And for 1 second. Right there, see?
Whom would you like to fight and where and when?
I'd like to fight whoever you think's the best, the number one man. I'd say he's Zoe Foley.
I'm not sure that there's anybody left, really, for you to fight.
You.
That may come about someday. Thank you for coming by.
Stay in shape.
Are you taking Zora Foley too lightly?
Why would you say that?
Because every indication has been that you're confident that you can beat Zora.
I'm confident I can whoop all of them. This ain't nothing new. My image has been confident. What you trying to make it look like something new for? I'm always confident I can whoop all of them.
You're being extremely truculent.
Whatever truculent mean, if that's good, I'm that.
Well, I tell you, Cosell, I've been taking oxygen because I needed the oxygen. What you will see is I won't need the oxygen tonight. I'm ready.
I want you so bad, I just get tired. I done made you great in this country and you still popping off. I want you bad.
Oh, wait, let's get the facts straight. I made you.
You made me.
Nobody knew you.
You made me.
I took a poor little kid from Louisville
and made me.
Let's put it on the tape.
Anybody who didn't watch football didn't know you.
Howard Cosell had been a constant through the many phases of Ali's career, a source of support, provocation, and candor.
Touch me.
What you call it?
Let's tell it like it is, right from the beginning.
I done made you famous enough. Everywhere I go, you follow me to get your name in the papers and on television.
You'd still be stealing bikes in Louisville if it weren't for me.
You always said, Muhammad, you're not the man you were 10 years ago, right?
Right.
Well, I'm going to ask your wife, are you the man you was last year?
You'll get a quick answer to that.
And we just don't get along no kind of way.
And you've been spreading that kind of gospel at every college campus in this country.
Every college that I go to, everybody asks me about Howard Cosell. Why is it that you and Howard Cosell can't get along? And my answer is we just don't get along. I mean, you just talk a lot of stuff that don't make sense. I mean, why would you open up the show and you told me you would ask me a few nice questions. Why would you open up the show talking about I'm afraid of Joe Frazier and Jerry Quarry? You really believe that they have a chance against me?
Well, I think
you come to all of my fights. You follow me all over the world, Germany, London, Canada, and I see you at ringside talking about these homemade champions. Now, do you really believe they could beat me?
Cosell and Ali never rehearsed anything. It was totally spontaneous, totally off the cuff. I believe they had a tremendous mutual respect for each other. I think they enjoyed clowning with each other. But again, Howard was never afraid, despite all of that and despite what many people viewed as an act, Howard was never afraid to go at him journalistically, and Howard never pulled back from anything that he should have been asking Ali from a journalistic standpoint.
Now, wait a minute. This marvelous wristwatch, what were you frightened of? I wasn't going to hit you. Why did you move?
I mean, why would you jump over here?
Because I want the people to see the wristwatch that you bought in Frankfurt, West Germany.
Yeah.
Only because I found the person who'd sell it to you more cheaply than anybody else in the whole country.
Well, for once after all, I mean, what's you getting me a deal on a watch? If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have got to see Germany.
By then, the chemistry and kinship between Cosell and Ali had grown for nearly 12 years on the wide world stage, and no subject was off limits for the unrelenting Cosell.
It's been written and written that you're dead broke. Is that true?
Dead broke? Broke how?
No money.
no money. That don't make no sense. I had no money.
That's what they've been saying and writing. The New York Times did a long piece on that.
I don't understand why they could say that.
You do have money.
Do you have money?
Yes.
Well, if you got, no, I got it. I made 10 times more than you.
That's true.
Well, yeah.
Then you're not broke.
Broke? What you talking about?
Okay. Good luck to you, September 5th.
As Muhammad Ali's boxing career came to an end, so did his unique relationship with Howard Cosell, an association that had entertained, educated, and often infuriated viewers for 16 tumultuous years on Wide World of Sports. From the early 60s through the end of the Ali era, Howard Cosell and Muhammad Ali bantered and bickered, held together by respect, honesty, affection, and in the end, compassion. It was a partnership that brought out the best in both men.
All of the years, all of the times together, I've enjoyed them. You're a very special man with a very special meaning to all of the American people.
Thank you.
I congratulate you. It's my honor. Your name is Muhammad Ali.
Now, if you like, when I do end up putting this, the show on YouTube, you'll be able to see the video to go along with the voice. The relationship those two had was unbelievable, was amazing to see, and it was entertaining. And that was everything that Muhammad Ali was. It was entertaining. I mean, his trash talking, everything. It was amazing. But I have one quick clip that I'm gonna get to after the break. And I'll give some other things about Muhammad Ali when I come back from the break. Two superstars are going at it in the NBA Finals. We'll go over which has gotten the best of the other through the first two games when we get back on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
CyberStation USA is the future of radio. Get your business into the online future at the world's largest internet radio station. From banner placement on our homepage to any of our broadcaster stages, commercials on our video player, audio spots on any of our shows, or at the beginning of any of our on-demand broadcasts. CyberStation USA offers competitive rates with a worldwide reach, a fully integrated one-stop-shop social media broadcast platform. For more information, please contact our sales department at cameo@cyberstationusa.com.
All Noise Radio, powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. All Noise Radio is an internet radio station that's fully produced by graduates of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. From modern rock to old school hip hop, country to classical, news, talk, sports, and more. It's the noise you can't ignore. Log on to allnoiseradio.com. Fire up the station. Find out more about your favorite jocks. Get the latest CSB news and more. Plus, you can take All Noise Radio with you on the go for free. Just download the Live 365 app to your iPhone, iPod Touch, or BlackBerry and search All Noise Radio. Check out tomorrow's broadcasters today at allnoiseradio.com. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Monday on Zeno Radio and re-airs every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern on Cyberstation USA and the Stitcher app. You can also tune in every Wednesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports, or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com or call in to 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live.
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
And this is from the movie with Will Smith, and if you haven't seen that movie, I suggest you go see that movie. Netflix it or Redbox it, whatever you can do. If you haven't seen the Muhammad Ali movie with Will Smith, you have to go see it. But before I said that I had a clip that basically will wrap up this whole relationship of Muhammad Ali and Howard Cosell in about a minute of a clip. And this is from, they had I think it was a 50th birthday celebration for Muhammad Ali. The whole nine, everything. And this was Howard Cosell celebrating or talking about Muhammad Ali.
It's hard to believe. All the years. Everything that's passed between us. It's so hard to believe. And so memorable. And now, it's time to say to you, Muhammad, God bless you and happy birthday to you. And you know something? You are exactly who you said you are. You never wavered. You are free to be who you want to be. I love you.
Right there just shows you the kind of relationship that those two had in 1 minute of a clip. Muhammad Ali, some of his accomplishments and accolades. 1959, he was a National Gold Gloves light heavyweight champion. 1959 as well. National Amateur Athletic Union champion. 1960, National Gold Glove light heavyweight champion. 1960, National Amateur Athletic Union champion. So back-to-back years. 1960, gold medal Rome Olympics light heavyweight boxing. 1964 to 1967 world heavyweight champion. He had to give that up, obviously, for going to jail and skipping out on the Vietnam War. 1970 Dr. Martin Luther King Memorial Award. 1974 Sportsman of the Year, Sports Illustrated. 1974 Fighter of the Year, Boxer Writers Association. 1974 to 1978 world heavyweight champion. 1978 to 1979 world heavyweight champion. I don't know if that's 278 or N78, but whatever. 1979 honorary doctorate of humane letters, Texas Southern University. 1979 street named after him in Louisville, Kentucky, his hometown, born and raised. 1985 recognized for long meritorious service, World Boxing Association. 1987 elected to the Boxing Hall of Fame. 1990 inducted into International Boxing Hall of Fame. 1996 lights Olympic torch. That's where he looked bad. With his shaking and everything like that. That was a surprise. Nobody thought that, nobody knew he was going to be lighting the torch. 1997 Arthur Ashe Award for Courage with ESPN. 1997 Essence Living Legend Award. And that's exactly what he was, a living legend. It's actually funny because when I was listening to the clips, I actually was reading an article from CBS Sports with the doctor that Muhammad Ali worked with, Dr. Abe Lieberman. And the article went as followed. He said, "Not really." Dr. Abe Lieberman's answer when he was asked Monday if submitting the brain for research was considered. Lieberman said he didn't think boxing contributed to Ali contracting Parkinson's disease, but he couldn't be 100% certain. The doctor spoke at a news conference at the Muhammad Ali Parkinson Center at the Barrow Neurological Institute in Phoenix. Lieberman was among those who diagnosed Ali in 1984 and became a good friend as well as his physician. Ali, who died in Arizona last Friday at the age of 74, had said he believed he suffered serious damage in the fight with Larry Holmes in 1980. Ali once said in an interview that if he'd known Holmes was going to whip me and damage my brain, I would not have fought him. But losing to Holmes and being sick are not important in God's world. But Lieberman said Ali probably already had Parkinson's when he climbed into the ring for the Holmes fight. The doctor said he did not hear Ali blame boxing for his illness. Muhammad had no regrets about boxing. Lieberman said he didn't really talk about it that way. Muhammad was a devout Muslim and believed that he did your best and whatever happened was God's will. Dr. Holly Schill, director of Ali Center, said research shows that those with a history of head injury are at only a slightly greater risk of contracting Parkinson's. People who don't have a history of head injuries, the risk of developing Parkinson's is about 1% at age 60, she said. If you look at people who do have a history of head injury, and usually a pretty significant head injury, enough to go to the hospital and get medical attention, that number goes up to 1.5%. Ali once calculated he had taken 29,000 punches to the head, and there's no research on what so many blows might cause. Lieberman said he treated boxing great Jack Dempsey and saw a serious, quick decline in the former fighter's cognitive abilities due to brain trauma. But in Ali, Lieberman said he saw the natural progression of Parkinson's disease. So they're saying that they think he had Parkinson's before, that really didn't have any bearing on his boxing career, but it didn't help, I guess you could say. If that is true, that he got the Parkinson's just naturally, getting punched, maybe 29,000 times, maybe didn't do much to help that, I guess you can say. But, it is with a heavy heart to say that we did lose a legend. Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, has passed away at the age of 74. Really all I can say now is just rest in peace. And then we're going to move on to some basketball. NBA Finals. Warriors and Cavaliers. Last time I was here, we didn't know who was going to be in the finals. Same thing with the Stanley Cup. I think the last time I was here, the last time I did the show, I think we were still 2-2 in the Raptors-Cavaliers series, if I am not mistaken. But basically, what can I say? The Cavaliers just have looked outworked, outplayed, outcoached. I don't know if you can say, I don't think it's a phrase or it's a word, or out-hearted, you could say. They haven't shown anything in these first two games. And, I'm going to get more into this when I get back. NBA Finals isn't the only championship going on. We'll discuss the NHL Stanley Cup coming up when we get back on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on Zeno Live. The Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Monday on Zeno Radio and re-airs every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern on Cyberstation USA and the Stitcher app. You can also tune in every Wednesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports, or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com or call in to 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be
Panda Entertainment Group and Cyberstation USA are now part of Stitcher, a free radio app for your smartphone. With Stitcher, you can listen to live programming as well as archived radio programming right on your phone. To obtain Stitcher, just go to the App Store for your particular phone. Go to search, then type in Stitcher. That's Stitcher, S-T-I-T-C-H-E-R. S-T-I-T-C-H-E-R. Then download. It's that simple. Stitcher, a free radio app for your smartphone. Convenient access to live and archived Cyberstation USA programming on your mobile phone. That's Stitcher, S-T-I-T-C-H-E-R. Cyberstation USA, always on the go.
All Noise Radio. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. All Noise Radio is an internet radio station that's fully produced by graduates of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. From modern rock to old school hip hop, country to classical, news, talk, sports, and more. It's the noise you can't ignore. Log on to allnoiseradio.com. Fire up the station. Find out more about your favorite jocks. Get the latest CSB news and more. Plus, you can take All Noise Radio with you on the go for free. Just download the Live 365 app to your iPhone, iPod Touch, or BlackBerry and search All Noise Radio. Check out tomorrow's broadcasters today at allnoiseradio.com. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
I know who you came here to see. If you a freak, then you come on with me. And I know what you came here to do. Now bust it open, let me see you get loose. It's going down for real.
And we are back. Tom and Jerry Sports Show, 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. You can tweet us at TNJ Sports or head to our website, tnjsports.weebly.com. Getting into the other championship. Actually, before we get into the other championship, talking about the NBA Finals here. Like I said, the Cavaliers haven't really shown anything in this series. I don't know how long this series is going to go, but I don't know if it's going to go 7. I don't know if it's going to go 6. It all depends on what happens in Game 3. If Game 3 comes out and the Cavaliers show what they've shown in the last 2 games, it's over. It's over. The sick thing about this is the Warriors aren't getting all their scoring from Steph Curry. They're not. The first game, they got it from Sean Livingston. They got it from Leandro Barbosa. Leandro Barbosa, ended up at one point in last night's game, he was 10 for 10 so far in the first 2 games until missing a 3-pointer, I think it was. But there's other guys that are showing up. I mean, last night was Draymond Green's day. Like I said, Game 1 was Sean Livingston and Leandro Barbosa. And Klay Thompson had a play in that last night. He put up points. But, I mean, the Cavaliers have no answer to it. And Kevin Love goes out. I don't know what to say about that. I'm not even going to go there. Kyrie hasn't looked good at all. First game, I think he was 9 for 22 or something like that. The first game goes 104-89, Golden State. Second game, 110-77. Yesterday, they just quit. It was bad. Real bad. And, there's really not much to say about it. There's really not much to talk because this series is just, it's 2 blowouts. It is. It's 2 blowouts so far. First 2 games. But, like I said, this is not the only championship going on. We had the Stanley Cup Finals going on as well. And I think I said a couple of weeks ago that I thought San Jose was the best team in the NHL playoffs. I stuck by that. And then I started watching this series, the Stanley Cup, Penguins and Sharks. The Penguins have just carried their hot play from the end of the season into the playoffs, and they just have not slowed down. They really haven't. I mean, the games that I've been watching so far in the Stanley Cup, the first 2 games, it was just like the Penguins were just so much faster than the Sharks. They were on the puck at all times. And it's not even like that their goalies have been playing bad. I mean, Matt Murray, there's no reason to have Fleury anymore. There's none. There's no reason. You might as well try to trade him because there's no reason. This guy is here to stay. Matt Murray is here to stay. He is unbelievable. Great goalie. And, I mean, even, Martin's been playing very well for San Jose as well. Some may even say he's been playing better than Murray. He's just been faced with more shots, and he has. But the Sharks were able to get on the board in Game 3 when they went back to San Jose, winning in overtime on a pretty goal, very pretty. But this series goes as 2-1 right now. The Penguins. Game 4 is in. Actually, probably puck has just dropped in San Jose. The next game won't be until Thursday. So tonight you get your Stanley Cup fix. I believe tomorrow is tomorrow is game. No. We have until the 8th. So we got Wednesday, right? Yeah, Wednesday to watch the NBA Finals. So Tuesday we will have nothing to watch. Now, one of the bigger news, and not many people may have heard about this. Actually, before I even get to that, Aqib Talib was shot, and I don't understand these players. I really don't understand these players. Now the news is that he's coming out that he shot himself, and his answer to that is, "I was too intoxicated to remember what happened." That's a problem. You just won the Super Bowl. You were heading to go see the president with your team today. But because you either shot yourself or got shot, are unable to go. He's very lucky. The bullet missed all of his major, arteries and everything like that. So he's lucky he didn't lose the leg. But I don't understand these players. You have so much money. You're in a job that I can guarantee you 85% of the people would love to be in your position. Making millions of dollars. You're a Super Bowl champion. What is the point to going to a strip club? Why? There's no reason to. Why is there a reason to get so drunk that you don't even remember what happened, let alone if you shot yourself? What is the deal? All right, now, if you want to go out and have fun, do that. But with these guys, you have all the money in the world. Okay? So, now, that's the other thing that gets me with these people getting DWIs, DUIs. There's Uber around. You have all the money in the world. You can have a chauffeur. Then, you go to these places. You have all the money in the world. I mean, I saw a tweet that was like, why is these guys going to strip clubs when they don't even have to pay for, what they want to, what they're going there for? When they could just, walk the streets to get the same thing. I just don't understand it. There's no reason to, get to that point. There's no reason. You have all the money in the world. You can have a bodyguard or 2 or 3. I mean, there's no reason. And if it's friends of his from before his NFL days that are bringing him to a club that maybe he shouldn't be in, that's your fault, man. You got to drop those friends then, if that's the deal. But I mean, this guy, before going to New England, he was in a lot of trouble. He got in and out of trouble. That was Aqib Talib. Going to New England, he changed his act. And even with Denver, he was, he's been playing well, staying out of trouble. That went down the drain. But now going to that story that I was talking about before the Aqib Talib story, that many people may have not heard. And this was big news, at least in the fighting business. The UFC business. Ariel Helwani And if you watch the UFC, if you watch their pregame, their pre-fights, their post-fights, you'll know of this guy. He's a reporter for the UFC. He was basically fired on Saturday. He was at the fight. I think it was UFC 198, I believe, or something like that. I don't. Maybe a fight night card. I don't know what it was. And he tweeted out news that he heard. So as a reporter, you hear news, you report the news, especially if it's on your field, I guess, or your profession. He's a UFC reporter. He heard UFC news. He reported the UFC news. The news was that Brock Lesnar was making a return to the UFC, which was right, and also that the Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz Fight 2 will take place in UFC 202. Supposedly it was even before they got to the main event on Saturday. He was kicked out with a couple other guys that were part of another, agency or newspaper. I don't know what it was, but they were kicked out, credentials taken away. And later found out that Ariel Helwani will be banned for life from the UFC. What a joke that is. This guy was reporting the news. It is absolutely ridiculous that this guy doing his job is getting fired and banned for life from the sport when he is probably the best reporter in the UFC. I don't know what Dana White is doing. I don't understand it. Yes, I know, he likes to, make bigger things of these kind of news, I guess you could say. And maybe he was trying to keep it hush-hush, trying to make it, trying to break the news himself or break it in some kind of way. But now it's found out that Brock Lesnar will face Mark Hunt, and like I said, the Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz fight number 2 will be at UFC 202. So I don't know. I just listening to reading about this story kind of made me sick to my stomach, because this guy, like I said, works for the UFC, is a reporter for the UFC, was reporting news for the UFC, and gets banned for life because he was doing his job. To me, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And Dana White and the rest of the UFC should be ashamed of themselves. And they honestly, in my opinion, have lost their best reporter in Ariel Helwani. And it's going to be weird not seeing this guy reporting on the UFC. But I'm going to get into some baseball news when I get back from the break. Baseball has been in full swing. Yankees and Mets are heading into different directions, but they have a similarity. I'll let you know what that is with our Tom and Jerry Sports Show. Yankees update and Mets update coming up on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on Zeno Live.
This is the evolution of radio.
Cyberstation USA.
Our inventions change us. They make us think differently.
Something new added to the real world.
The leading edge of evolution.
That development has got to be delivered.
CyberstationUSA.com.
The most sophisticated that I've ever seen.
I'm not sure exactly what the future is, but I'm pretty sure it's not going away.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting founder Dick Robinson.
You know, the media business has changed a lot since we opened our doors in 1964. Now media content is everywhere, on air, online, on the go. More than ever, companies are looking for people to help drive this new media.
At Connecticut School of Broadcasting, you'll get hands-on training on the latest software and equipment in a matter of months, not years. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has placed thousands of grads in broadcast media careers.
It's all about versatility. You see, at a radio station, if you also know how to shoot, edit, and post videos, you become a pretty hot commodity. That's the training you get at Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting with locations up and down the East Coast from Massachusetts to Miami. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to GoCSB.com. Connecticut School of Broadcasting, the nation's oldest and largest group of broadcast media schools. Redefining training in radio, TV, and new media. Get trained. Get connected. 1-800-TV-RADIO.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Monday on Zeno Radio and re-airs every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern on Cyberstation USA and the Stitcher app. You can also tune in every Wednesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com or call in to 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live.
House. My man Lil Zane, Lil Wayne, Sammy sing to me. Caught you by surprise, right before your eyes. This one's to the wall. Ain't nothing like a soul.
We are back, Tom and Jerry Sports Show. We're taking phone calls at 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. I mentioned that there was a similarity between the Yankees and the Mets, and I'll give you that right now. The similarity, now, the Yankees have gone through this for the last, 10 years, I guess you could say, and the Mets are showing signs of that. Now, the Yankees have never had pitching like the Mets do, but the Yankees, no matter what lineup they had for the last 10 years or so, always relied on the home run. And that's what the Mets are doing right now. And I mean, would you think I was crazy to say that the Yankees actually collectively have a better batting average than the Mets have collectively? Because it's true. That's how it's been going so far. But the Mets have the pitching that they can win games 1-0, 2-1. The Yankees are getting to the point where they'll have a 1-0 lead all the way up. I mean, just the other day against the Orioles, 1-0 lead. And you think that you would actually have a better chance, being that you got your, quote unquote, no-run DMC between Dellin Betances, Andrew Miller, and Aroldis Chapman. Chapman gives up a bases-loaded single in the 8th to Matt Wieters. We lose 3-1. We were winning 1-0 the whole game. We lose 3-1. It is so aggravating to watch the Yankees right now. I can't even tell you. And I mean, I've heard Yankee fans say that they're actually more entertained by watching the Mets. I heard that on the Hahn and Humpty show. I wanted to throw up. I would never say that. I would rather watch the TV turned off and just watch a blank screen than watch the Mets over the Yankees. But that's the kind of Yankee fan that I am. And I digress. But now there's actually another similarity, I guess you could say, with the Yankees and the Mets is now the injuries. David Wright will probably be out, being that I wasn't able to I didn't have a show in the last 2 weeks. I wasn't able to talk about the whole David Wright injury, and it's looking like he's going to be out until probably September. And now this puts the Mets at it puts them definitely in a hard position, because you're kind of stuck with him. He's making a lot of money. And now what are you going to do when he comes back? Like, now, when you go to the trade deadline, now, are they going to be looking for a third baseman, or are they going to actually stick with Flores at third, or whoever else they're going to have at third? Campbell? I don't know. Now, are you going to look for a third baseman at the trade deadline? Or are you going to stick with what you have because at some time, I guess, or whatever it is, that David Wright's going to make his way back? Now, you got to think about it. They're saying that he's got to relax for 6 to 8 weeks, then start his baseball routine. So that means rehab starts and all that. So you're talking maybe another 3 weeks. This guy is already riddled with injuries. You can't just release him because he's got a lot of money towards the cap. Well, there's no cap, but he's got a lot of money towards that basically you have to pay. So it's a tough position for the Mets. And what are you going to do? When he does come back, you're going to have him on the bench if you do get a third baseman? Now, I know Met fans don't want to hear this, but they probably should have kept Daniel Murphy. Probably should have. Because, first of all, he is raking the ball with Washington. Raking. Maybe not for home runs, but for average, absolutely. He's raking. And third base was definitely his more comfortable position rather than second base. So it's a tough spot the Mets are in. It really is. And then you had the whole thing with Matt Harvey. To me, and obviously he's been pitching better as of the last couple of starts, the last 2 starts or whatever. To me, I feel like Terry Collins is kind of a pushover when it comes to Matt Harvey. I feel like he's scared of him. I mean, that's the kind of opinion that I have on Terry Collins and Matt Harvey. I feel like he's a pushover. And you really saw it in the World Series when he wanted to go out for the 9th. Terry Collins didn't want him to go out for the 9th, which in reality now, after the fact, you probably wish Terry Collins did pull him. But just the way that he did that, just the way that he went about that. You have the pitching coach go up to Matt Harvey and tell him that he's going to be out. I feel like he's scared of him. And then, when he was having his struggles, you didn't know if he had an injury or not. You didn't know what was going on. But he could have maybe skipped a start. Skip 2 starts or whatever. Do a rehab. I mean, not a rehab, but do like a minor league stint. I mean, not many people want to hear that, the Matt Harvey quotations. I'm doing air quotes right now. You'll see on YouTube when I put it up there, but air quotes right now. The great Matt Harvey. It's like he's scared of him. And, you don't want to see the great Matt Harvey go down to the minor leagues to figure out what the hell is going on. But, I mean, Terry Collins got to realize that he's the coach. Matt Harvey's not the coach. He's not a player coach or whatever you want to say. Like, he's not that. There's no reason to be scared of him. But I don't know what they're going to do with him. I don't know if you're going to try to trade him. Because you know you're going to lose one of them, at least. I've heard trade rumors with Zach Wheeler. You don't know. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. I think it's going to be interesting, especially as a Yankees fan. It's going to be interesting to see what happens at the trade deadline, and then even with the Mets, because the Mets are going to need, because they're going to be around to be buyers at the trade deadline. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Yankees, because the Yankees, in some people's minds, are going to be sellers at the trade deadline. In my mind, I don't want to see the Yankees as sellers. I would rather go down with the team that we got right now rather than getting rid of everybody. It's going to be so hard for me to see Andrew Miller get traded or Dellin Betances get traded. Aroldis Chapman, I'm kind of already bracing myself for the trade deadline to be traded because, again, he's still on a 1-year contract. So this was kind of a rental, I guess you could say. And it's not like we traded a lot for him, but I already see him going. So I don't know, I'm not really attached to Aroldis Chapman, but I am attached to Andrew Miller and Dellin Betances because, first of all, Dellin Betances is very young. It'd be stupid to get rid of him. And Andrew Miller is just so good. And I know we need the offense, but who are we going to get? It's really, you're going to be going for prospects, really. I mean, there's not many people that you're going to trade Andrew Miller for a star, I guess you could say. I mean, what position are you going to get him for? If you think about it, you already got 4 outfielders that are already causing a problem. I mean, it's like, we sign Aaron Hicks and he has to be out there for every time we play a lefty. So you have to sit Ellsbury or Gardner. Gardner can't hit the side of a barn. I don't know. I mean, where are you going to put him? You're stuck with Headley because of his contract. You got younger already at shortstop with Didi Gregorius, and then you got younger with second base with Starlin Castro. You already have a guy waiting back there for first base with Greg Bird, but because of the whole rotator cuff injury, he's out for the season. So you're kind of just waiting on him. Catcher, you have Brian McCann. You're kind of stuck with him for 2 or 3 years, whatever it is. And Austin Romine's been playing very well, other than getting hit with one of Aroldis Chapman's pitches. So really, what kind of offense are you going to get? You can't get a guy for DH because you have A-Rod there. And you're stuck with A-Rod for another year. So why even trade these guys? Keep them in-house. I mean, maybe Aroldis Chapman will go, but keep them in-house. Grit through these next year or two. You end up getting rid of Teixeira, Beltran, A-Rod, Headley. Maybe end up getting Bryce Harper. That immediately brings up your offense. I mean, I don't see the Yankees getting Matt Harvey if he becomes a free agent. But, I mean, I would definitely make a move for him. I don't know if, he's going to be like 31. So I don't know if you're going to want to, give him crazy amount of money, but I wouldn't mind him. But, I mean, that's just, I'm kind of just spitballing about the Yankees and the Mets here. This will end up being a segment. Once I get my co-host back, we could start recording some imaging for the show. he'll be graduating from the Court Officer Academy very soon. So, congratulations to him for that. He's got his final soon. So, actually, hopefully he graduates. But he should be back in studio. We won't have to do our, where he's in his home office and I'm in the studio. Hopefully we'll be back in the studio together and back to talking sports and having some more imaging. I'm actually working on a new intro for the show. And then we have a segment that we may even be implicating soon. I don't know how soon, but we'll probably be implicating it to our show very soon, and we'll, keep you posted with that. But that will do it for the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. We'll be back next week. Hopefully Kevin will be here, and we'll talk some sports. Leave us some, if you want, tweet at us. We can answer them on the show if you don't want to call in. And I will, we'll answer the questions, whatever you have, on the show next week. And you can keep doing that. Follow us on Twitter at TNJ Sports, on Instagram at TNJ Sports, or at our website, tnjsports.weebly.com. Again, that will do it. The clock on the wall says that is all for the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. I'm Jerry. Be breezy.
You've been listening to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show
on Zeno Radio.